What is up, guys, and welcome to the start of my F1 2018 career mode journey. This is episode 1. You'll see the full walkthrough of the full game now that the review embargo is now over. So welcome to F1 2018. Hopefully you enjoy my videos. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all of the F1 2018 career mode, online league racing, anything F1 related. You guys are going to see it on this channel, so please subscribe. So what we're going to be doing is a Sauber career mode, essentially doing a road to glory, building Sauber up from the bottom and trying to create a championship winning team once again. So that's the goal. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to come quickly. It's going to be a long grind, and it's going to be quite the journey trying to get there.
Mr. Monaco.
And that is my audio commentary name, because Ben or Benjamin or Daly, my last name, was not in the game, so that's unfortunate. But we're going to be driving for Sauber, like I said. Team expectations are actually one of the lowest of any of the teams. Like the other teams, it goes on about their heritage and their history. Sauber doesn't really go into too much. They're just looking to score points on the regular basis. So in terms of impressing the team, that should be pretty easy. But we're going to be jumping in with our teammate Charles Leclerc. Pretty talented driver. He could be our biggest rival in the future, so we'll have to potentially watch out for him. But let's get our career mode started.
Thanks for coming by. I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media, so be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tyre wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
Welcome to your new team. Sauber is the kind of team that other privateers aspire to be. No matter the challenges they face, they rise to the occasion and make it out the other side. They need someone who can be consistent, resilient, and determined. And there's no doubt in my mind that you can give them those qualities.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, given that you've not actually seen me drive yet. But thank you very much, Emma, who is our, I'd say, agent. But yeah, we're thrown straight into the deep end now. We're ready for the start of the Grand Prix weekend. You can see there, Alfa Romeo Sauber is the second slowest team on the grid. But the good thing is, I guess, in our side, is there's not too much of a way of improvement in terms of finding performance to overtake some cars in the order. So I think the thing that we're going to try and do initially is go for the downforce upgrades. We have 2 major upgrades to do straight away, so I'm going to be targeting those first. But before we do that, I'm actually going to do a department efficiency upgrade so that I can make future upgrades cheaper, and that way in the long run it'll mean we can upgrade faster, because we're going to be sticking with this team for multiple seasons, and it's just the smart thing to do, to just get it out of the way and see the benefits later.
Welcome to our viewers from around the globe. You join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. We can see, of course, plenty of activity in the garages as we wait for the green light to get this session underway. Anthony Davidson, thank you for joining me once again. What are you going to be looking out for once the cars get out there on the circuit today?
Well, naturally, in any free practice session, you can never be sure exactly what programs the teams are running, how much fuel they've put in, and so on. So it's important to resist the temptation to draw any firm conclusions from the fastest times on the monitor. What we can do, however, is look for consistent pace over the course of multiple laps. So if someone does half a Grand Prix distance and they're consistently half a second quicker than another driver doing the same, then that's generally a good indicator of a car with a solid race pace.
Morning, Jeff here. I'm looking forward to working with you as your race engineer. Hope you've had a good night's sleep, because we've got a lot of work to do today to prep for the season ahead. We're ready to fire up the car, so why not head out and get a few laps under your belt?
Okay, thanks Jeff. We're just going to go out straight away, no setup on the car, and we'll do track acclimatization.
We have a number of programs to run during these practice sessions. You can check the details in the car monitor.
So, what you're seeing here, this is us going out for the very first time. No setup, like I said. Getting a feel of this Sauber. I have driven quite a bit of F1 2018 up until this point, but so far I have never driven a backmarker car. So this is going to be our first test, just to see how the car handles, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses in this car, and where we need to direct some of our development. But as you can see here, I had this moment where my PC froze, and by the time it unfroze, I was in the barrier. And this was a recurring issue the whole of this recording session. So I had to do a lot of flashbacks, because I'd be in the middle of a corner, the game would freeze, and then a second later it would unfreeze and it would jump forward and I'd be in a barrier or in a gravel trap somewhere, and it was really, really annoying. I had this issue on F1 2017. I didn't really show that, but again, it's happening today, so that's pretty frustrating. My PC is really, really good, but maybe the game's unoptimized because it hasn't been released yet, or maybe there is genuinely something wrong with my PC. I don't really know. But initially, you saw there, we had a bit of a tangle there with Charles Leclerc, our teammate, so not the best way to start off our relationship, but I got a pretty good feel of the car nonetheless. It's going to be very, very difficult this season.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. It's been a lot of hard work, but here you are making your debut in Formula One. You must be thrilled. So how are you finding things at the team? Are you settling in? What are you expecting out of this season? Are you just aiming to find your feet in Formula One, or do you see something more? Great! Well, that's everything.
Thanks, Claire. That was our first little look into the time-pressured interviews for our career. Straight into the good books with Sauber, which is nice to see. But yeah, don't get me wrong, this is going to be a really, really hard test this first season of career mode. 110 AI, the most difficult AI you can get. We're running with no assists, and we're running with like simulation damage as well. So it doesn't get any harder than this in a backmarker car. We're certainly going to have our work cut out for us nonetheless. But we're going to go off for qualifying now, and hopefully we can get out of Q1. That'd be nice.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily, it's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
It won't be easy getting out of this qualifying session. Let's see what you can do.
No, it definitely won't be easy getting out of Q1. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I've been struggling this weekend. So far in practice, I've actually struggled to even beat the practice programs. Some of the targets that they set is almost like qualifying laps. It's quite ridiculous. And I've been chasing my teammate all weekend. He's been at least like half a second faster to even a second faster in some sessions. So in this one, I'm not too sure where we're going to qualify, but if I can somehow find some extra pace in this session, then that would be much appreciated. So I was running with a custom setup. I was dabbling between custom and default setup, but for this qualifying session, I've decided to go back to the default because I want to be closer to my teammate and have no excuses, but I'm going to modify the setup slightly. What I've done so far is I've moved the ballast from 6 to 7, and after this run, I actually moved the brake bias back to the rear. I increased the differential, and I also take off a bit of front wing as well, because on that first run, the car was just a little bit unstable. You can see we're 2.6 seconds off pole position at the moment, 23.0. Charles has done 22.3, so 7 tenths in front of us at the moment. But like I said, with those changes, I feel like it'll make the car behave just that little bit better. It was just a little bit unbalanced in certain areas, and these changes will kind of help it in the high speed. It'll help it in low speed with the braking bias being moved to the rear to help rotate the car a little bit better, and give us a little bit more straight line speed with a lower front wing. And with the diff, I was also upping that to make the power delivery a little bit more instant, but it also makes the car kind of a bit more understeery at high speed. But we start our second run, get blocked by Brendan Hartley, so that was that run out the window. We had to cool down and go again, and this is our second run in this session. So here we go. Let's see if we can get outside of Q1 in this session. You can see we're not last place. We're actually faster than Alonso, but I don't expect that to be the case for the entirety of this session. A pretty good lap so far. All the changes we've made so far are working really well. The biggest one so far, I'd say, is the braking. The fact that we're able to rotate the car a little bit better in medium to low speed corners makes a world of difference, and we can actually make that a bit more aggressive as well. We could go for 52 brake bias, but that might be a little bit harsh on the rears, especially in the race. But so far on the ragged edge of this lap, we almost spun out at the high speed left-right chicane on the exit on the curb, but we managed to just about hold on, not really leaving much on the table here on this lap. You can see we're up by 6, almost 7 tenths now as we come to the third sector, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a huge relief that we actually do have a bit of pace in this car. Hopefully this gets us inside the top 15 and into qualifying 2 for our first session in Formula 1. Can we do it? Not quite.
Up to P16.
Not quite, but I tell you what, that game was absolutely huge, and it puts us right behind our teammate Charles Leclerc, who I said we were chasing all weekend. The fact that we pretty much matched him when it counts was a huge sigh of relief, and it just gave me the confidence to push on this final lap here. So at the end of Q1 now, we put on another set of ultra soft tyres, and now we're just going hell for leather to try and topple our time and get into Q2. But like I said, that second lap that I did was really, really good. There was not much left on the table, and you can see I'm up on my time, but not by much at all. So improving is just really going to be down to track evolution
You've been moved down to P18.
and just mastering the third sector a little bit better. There was a little bit of time left on the table, so hopefully we can find that. Through the third to last corner now. Actually went in a little bit more conservative there, but I hit the apex better, so it was a bit neutral. But through the final couple of corners, we rotate the car quite nicely, a decent exit, and we only just find a little bit of improvement there. It's not going to move us up any more places, but there we are. That was our first qualifying session. Very, very difficult in the end. I said it was going to be difficult, and we're out in Q1. 2 seconds off the pace. Thankfully, not a huge gap to Charles Leclerc, but at the same time, it gives us something to aim for in future qualifying sessions. I like the fact that he's faster than me at the moment. It gives me a challenge, gives me a bit of progression, because if I was faster than him straight away, I guess that would be pretty boring. But we can still bolt on a setup. We can still find improvements in our driving, which is good to see. Hopefully in the race, we're a little bit faster.
Well done. Very solid result. You're looking good for the race.
New drivers, new cars, and a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that hosts the first round of a 21 race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. With that then, let's run through the grid order. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen, Magnussen, Sainz, Hülkenberg and Roman Grosjean, Alonso, Perez, Stoffel Van Dorn and Leclerc, Gasly, Hartley, Mr. Monaco and Sergei Sorokin. Stroll and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
I'll try not to, boss. Welcome to the grid of the Australian Grand Prix for our first race on F1 2018. I cannot wait to get started. Race strategy looks like it's going to be a one-stop. We are starting on the middle tyre compound, the super soft tyres, whereas the guys inside the top 10, they're on the ultra soft, and I assume that they're doing a two-stop. So it should be pretty interesting to see how we can move forward in this race given the tyre flexibility we have in terms of our strategy. So yeah, beating the other guys around us, I think that's possible, but we could possibly get a surprise there as well with the strategy.
Okay, here's who we're really fighting today. Van Dorn and Leclerc.
Yeah, so no real surprises there in terms of the people we are actually racing. In terms of the result today, we're going to have to fight really hard to get inside the points. I know we can get off to a good start. It's about maintaining that track position, maintaining that consistency, whether it be through managing the battery, looking after the rear tyres. These are all question marks that I don't know. This is my first full-length race on F1 2018, and there are a lot of question marks in myself, in the car, in the setup, in the AI. Are they going to crash? Are they going to be as many mistakes as what we've seen in the preview? All these questions are about to be answered because it's time to start this career mode championship. Here we go. 5 red lights, and away we go for the first race of a very long journey. Looks like a pretty poor start off the line there. Getting jumped by one of the Williams there of Sorokin heading into turn 1. Look at all the sparks of the cars in front of us. Let's try not to get distracted by that. Try and pierce our way through the field. Remember, we've got simulation damage as well, so we can't take any liberties with the AI, so we need to keep contact to an absolute minimum. Very slow through here. Yellow flags, in fact, such as the lack of intensity the AI are taking. Someone's got damage up here. I did see a yellow flag, so that's really...
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
That's really slowing us all up, and the two Toro Rossos line and stern pretty much side by side as they go through the middle sector. We try and shape a move up the inside, but we just couldn't get the move done. So it's P17, essentially where we started. Esteban Ocon had a grid penalty, and he's already overtaken a few cars and is now putting us under pressure as we head through this middle sector now. So, yeah, like I said earlier on in the video, our strength seems to be straight line speed. Aero is the worst in the field, or one of the worst in the field. So that's something we'll need to take into consideration when it comes to upgrading the car. That's a move up the inside of Hartley there into P16. Someone's got damage up there. That is Sergio Perez. I'm losing breath already. So much is happening in this Grand Prix. It's only the first couple of laps. First corner cut of the race as well. We can only use 3 warnings before we get a penalty, so watch out for that. But back to this battle, you can see this is the two McLarens going side by side, Alonso and Van Dorn. Van Dorn getting squeezed up pretty much off the circuit there. So Fernando not really showing too much respect to his teammate. I wonder if he's got damage and is the cause of this problem. Fernando has now dispatched him. Grosjean is up next, and then there's Leclerc. So hopefully we can get Gasly and then follow our teammate through in getting a couple of positions here. So this extends pretty much into the edge of the top 10. So let's see if we can continue to find positions. That was one just up the inside of Gasly there, and I believe Hartley followed me through as well. Such was the effectiveness of that move. Here's the replay, up the inside, clean as you like, job done. Gasly didn't get a great exit, and then you can see Hartley off in the background overtaking around the outside. So that's a pretty good job from him there. Next up is our teammate, so he's getting held up behind. That's a massive loss on the back end as well. Don't want to be overheating the tyres too much, because like I said, if you take the mick out of your rear tyres, they will take the mick out of you and make you suffer for the rest of the Grand Prix. Thankfully, the tyre temperatures are fine. Look at this, the battle for the Toro Rossos is still going on. It's 3 wide into the fast chicane. That never works out, and Hartley is the massive loser out of that squabble. Unbelievable. So the AI, you can see on this game, are not afraid to be very, very racy, but they do have their flaws. I have seen some pretty stupid things that they've been doing, including that Hartley just steering himself off the circuit, if you would have seen from that last onboard. So that was a bit weird. But anyway, we're carrying back on with the action. This is Van Dorn making contact with Grosjean, who tries to overtake him around the outside now into the second last corner, still side by side. Leclerc should have a pretty good insight of this battle as well. He might get a cheeky run at these guys if they compromise each other too much. Look at the straight line speed of these guys ahead of us. I'm in rich revs and using high/overtake on the ERS mapping. It's not enough. It is not enough. The AI, for some reason, are very, very fast in the straight line this year. I don't know, but look at the sparks as we got the inside of Van Dorn potentially into turn 3. Leclerc gets the move done. He holds it round the outside. I'm going to see if I can follow him through as well. No, I can't. I really tried to get that move done, but there just wasn't enough space. I didn't quite have the tyre grip, and Van Dorn holds on. Unbelievable race we're having so far, and this is only 4 laps in to this Australian Grand Prix. I will say, like, when it comes to first episodes of a new game, I almost had to look up the inside of Van Dorn. When it comes to the first episode of a new game, they're normally quite dull, to be honest, because you're learning the game, you're learning how to drive properly, and you're not really in the thick of things. But today, we have decent race pace, and we're getting right into the mix with the AI, which is absolutely awesome to see. And now Leclerc has overtaken Alonso as well. He makes a mistake into turn 3. Alonso might get him back. I'm going to get both of these guys here, actually all 3, around the outside through turn 4, and that is us up into P11. Unbelievable scenes in this Australian Grand Prix. Leclerc makes the mistake. He basically holds up both the McLarens there. I get the clean run around the outside, and that is a very... I don't know. I'm struggling to think of the superlatives now at this point. A decisive moment in the Australian Grand Prix for us. Hopefully, with that, we can carry it all the way to the points now. We've got some track position. We've got some clear air. The leaders are now starting to make their first round of pit stops after they started on the ultra soft tyres. So that's a compound we're yet to use in the race. But I imagine it's not going to be that great of a tyre compound. I reckon you maybe could stretch the ultras to do a one stop and then go on the softs to the end like you have on 2017, but it might be a bit more of a stretch this year. But we're on the super soft tyres, and these tyres should be good for at least another 7 laps. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Leclerc coming back at me now that he has a bit of clear air. And he gets that move done, does he? Turn 4, side by side. Can't quite get the move done, just like we tried to do to Stoffel Van Dorn. The engineer is requesting a strategy change. He wants me to dive onto the soft compound tyres now and maintain the one stop. So maybe tyre wear today isn't that harsh, and the softs can go all the way to the end. Here's Leclerc again. He got a nice run there. I've actually decided to let him go here, and I'm going to follow him through. Save up a bit of my battery and fuel, and just try and maintain that same pace that Charles is doing at the moment. So yeah, a bit of battle wounds, battle scars on the side pod of my car. So we're not afraid to make some contact. As long as it's side to side, we normally get away with it on the F1 games. That's until the damage model gets updated a little bit, but that's not happening for this game. But meanwhile, I had a bit of a freeze on my PC, and that resulted in a really terrible run through turns 2 and on the run to turn 3, and Ocon got up the insiders there. So yeah, still getting affected by the PC freezing stuff, so I'll see what I can do for now, and hopefully it's not an issue in future episodes, but I think I'm just going to have to wait until the first day patch for that to possibly go away. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, lap 12, we're getting ready for our pit stop now. We've stretched these tyres quite long into the Grand Prix. I think they're at like 30 or 40%, nearing 50%. So tyre wear not too bad, which was a nice surprise. Didn't have to do too much managing of the rear tyres, in all honesty. So that was rather easy to deal with. But they're going in now for the soft compound tyres. We're undercutting our teammate here, so we're getting the first preference, which was a bit of a surprise. I would have thought Charles would have stopped around the time that I got the strategy change, but it wasn't to be. Rejoining on the circuit, it looks like it's going to be P16. And a lot of work to do to get into the points now. But thankfully, a lot of the upper midfield guys will be doing 2 stops, and same with the front runners, and hopefully they can hold each other up and drag me into the battle if I can just keep it clean. But a couple laps later, you can see Van Dorn, Ocon, my teammate, they're all making their first stops of the Grand Prix, and that promotes us up into P13. So this is I guess the crucial point in the Grand Prix now. I've got to put in really good laps. Got to try and close in on the cars ahead, and just minimize the time that we give up to them later on in the Grand Prix. You can see this is us defending from one of the Haas cars. I believe it's Magnussen, who has made his second stop, I believe, of the Grand Prix. But we have a VSC now. That was a random one. I think it was for one of the Williams who have retired from the Grand Prix. So we took that opportunity to just save fuel, save up the battery a little bit, and we'll just get going again once the VSC goes out. So it only stayed out for like 80 seconds. So not much of a chance to really recover, but a chance to recover nonetheless. That was Magnussen trying to go around the outside of us in the first sector, and here you can see this is the Williams of Stroll, I believe, out of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, no safety car. That would have really helped us out there, but it wasn't to be. We can see Magnussen on the back straight here, trying to put us under pressure as we head into turns 10 and 11. Can't quite get the move done. So, yeah, for whatever reason, doesn't really matter what downforce levels we're running. We still seem to be really struggling in a straight line versus the AI. So it looks like early doors that the slipstream is very powerful on F1 2018. But again, this is Magnussen having another go into that corner, really putting us under pressure there. Meanwhile, my teammate has actually stopped a couple of laps ago, which is surprising because he only stopped like a lap or two after I stopped. So he's got some kind of problem or unscheduled pit stop, which has really set him out of the game here. This is Magnussen going around the outside again. Turn 3, can't get the move done. Please leave me alone. I'm losing my voice. I need to save it a little bit. There's 8 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. And now at this point, we're just going hell for leather, trying to burn up the remaining fuel we have left. Magnussen up the inside. He gets the job done, but he gets a poor run through turns 1 and 2. And we just slice back up the inside with a bit of a cutback. And that is us back up into P8. So here's the continuation of that into turn 3. He tries to go around the outside, but we shut the door off, parking the bus a little bit. But I'd say that's still within the rules, and we're definitely entitled to defend a points-paying position such as this at the moment. Again, Magnussen up the inside, a bit of contact as well through the third sector. The AI are definitely more aggressive in certain situations now on this game. They're not afraid to go for the dive bomb lunge. So holding on to track position is certainly not as easy as it once was compared to previous games.
Okay, still no power. Come on, guys.
So Seb is out of the Grand Prix. Pretty disappointing for him. He was actually contending for the race victory with his teammate, and then he actually dropped back to P7, I noticed, for a while there, so that must have been an ongoing problem that just suddenly got worse for Sebastian. So now he's out of the Grand Prix. Now Raikkonen's gone too, so that's a double retirement for Ferrari. Absolute calamity. I would almost bet the house on the exact same issue striking both cars there. So very unfortunate to start this campaign for 2018 for Ferrari with a double DNF. Not the way that they would have wanted to start, but for us, it's all guns blazing, trying to keep Esteban Ocon behind us. We were battling him at the start of the Grand Prix, but now we find ourselves in the exact same situation again. He tried to move in the middle sector, lost a lot of time, allowed me to save up a little bit more of my battery, and now as we head on to the final lap of this Grand Prix, I'm using up pretty much every last ounce of performance to try and keep him behind. Daniel Ricciardo has won the Grand Prix. Awesome job. Awesome stuff.
Yes, boys. Nice job, man.
I don't think that has ever happened in a career mode of mine where an Australian, who is not myself, wins the Australian Grand Prix. So great to see that Danny Rick has got the championship lead, something he has wanted for probably the longest time in his career. But for us, still battling away with Ocon. He annoyingly got up the inside there into the middle sector. We hold around the outside through the chicane, and that might just be the position. Look at the battery, there's nothing left. Ocon's up the inside again. I'm waving the hand, there's front wing damage going everywhere. And now Ocon gets the position. He's parked the bus as well and chopped off more of my front wing. What is this guy playing at? The AI are more aggressive, but they do more stupid things as well like that. Ocon, what were you thinking? In any case, it's still going to be P8. What a Grand Prix. I don't know how many points. I think that's 4 points. So what a start to our career.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner's trophy.
Awesome stuff. You know, I really hope we see these pictures in real life one day. Daniel Ricciardo standing on the top step of the podium in Melbourne. I got my fingers crossed. Renault, please sort it out. But anyway, what an amazing Grand Prix to start things off for this 2018 career mode season. Make sure you smash the like button if you enjoyed. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new to see how this journey will unfold and how long it'll take for us to get a podium, win a race, maybe even win a championship. But Charles Leclerc, that was really unlucky today. He had 3 stops. He stopped again very quickly after his first one, and then again another few laps, and then he stopped again. So I don't know what the strategy was at there. That was really weird. A lot of drivers opting for, I think it was a 50-50 split of 1 or 2 stops. Daniel Ricciardo, of course, getting the win by doing the 1 stop. So full congrats to him. And what a great start to our career. I'm so happy.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip? Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire. That is the first weekend done and dusted, and now we're just having a look at the results and everything we need to do before we end off this episode. So we're actually losing the rivalry. We lost quite a few points in the, I'd say in qualifying, just wasn't up to standard. Charles really showed us up there in terms of overall 1 lap pace. Our standing within the team, within others, it's actually gone down. Interesting. So too much contact with other teams? Did I just do some things out there that they didn't like? I don't know. That was very interesting to see. But we're not here to make friends. That's for sure. We're not looking elsewhere team-wise. We're looking to build the team around us here in Sauber. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what the other teams perceive me as in the Formula 1 paddock. I can be a villain. I don't care. But guys, that's been it for today. Great start to the career mode. 4 points for the championship. Not only the drivers, the constructors as well. Aerodynamics morale is poor. So I should make a note not to slag them off in the future. So yeah, you can see performance chart right at the bottom. Aerodynamics worst performance aspect of our cars, and that's something we'll need to work on over the coming episodes. I made a bit of a blunder as well. I forgot to do one of the upgrades for the aero. I just forgot to do it at the end of the episode. I was just so excited and looking at all the different menus, I just completely forgot to upgrade the car. So that'll happen at the start of the next episode. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next episode, the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm going to hopefully do like daily episodes of career mode. So let's keep it a regular series and just completely smash out the first season as quickly as we can. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.